Ladies and gentlemen, I am the one and only DJ Storms! And I would like to welcome each and every single one of you back here to the channel on YouTube.com, as of course, you already know who I am, Mr. Controversy, and the operator of the best damn Twitter handle known to mankind. And yes, it's a rare Monday upload, ladies and gentlemen, as this is the rewind for NXT TakeOver 25. Oh, and Jesse, Psycho Dad Jesse, I know you're watching. I did not forget to do the intro this time. You're fucking welcome. Alright, and ladies and gentlemen, as you can tell by the thumbnail, I'm not alone for this rewind. Back by popular demand, huge Sasha Banks and Bayley Mark, newest member of the DJ Storms posse, please help me welcome back to the channel for the second time in a month, Chrissy. What's going on, Chrissy?
I'm back.
Why did I have a feeling you were going to say that?
I don't know. I just liked it. Page reminiscent. You can also add Finn Balor to that introduction. That's accurate as well.
All right, fair enough. So
Dream
Sasha,
Team.
Bayley, and Finn Balor Mark. Got it. So now I know
Correct.
for the third time.
Yes.
You have any
Not that it
opening
matters.
words for my little gremlins known as the DJ Storms posse?
Hello, posse. It is I, Chrissy. No, I'm just kidding. I'm also a minion, a fellow minion. Fellow posse member.
I still got to send you that wrestband, damn it. I still haven't sent it yet.
Thank you.
I
would love to wear it.
I haven't had
We
the
love
chance
merch.
to. I've had like so many shifts at work. But anyway, we're not talking about work. We're talking about NXT TakeOver 25, and we're not going to waste any time. We're going to get straight into the matches. So, holy shit. That's all I got to say about TakeOver 25. Holy shit. What a fucking show we saw just 2 nights ago. And I've been waiting 2 days to air my thoughts on TakeOver 25. I got a lot of things to talk about. So, let's talk about that opening match. My God, 15 minutes, and let me tell you something. Roderick Strong and Matt Riddle, they started the show in the best way possible. The best way possible. And I don't know if you guys paid attention, but those two, Matt Riddle and Roderick Strong, damn near killed each other in that match. That match was probably one of the most hard-hitting matches in WWE all year, outside of Pete Dunne and Walter at TakeOver New York for the United Kingdom Championship. I absolutely love this match, and the right man won. I can't really say too much about that. It was a fantastic match to open the show. We had Matt Riddle coming back with the Broton, the penalty kicks on Roderick Strong. We had a great sequence by Matt Riddle where Matt Riddle hit the GTS, and then he hit a bridging German suplex for a close 2 count. Roderick Strong, and I loved this sequence by Roderick Strong. Well, first things first, Roderick Strong caught Matt Riddle flush, right in the face with an enziguri. Caught him right in the forehead, and then hit the superplex. Matt Riddle kicks out at 2. Roderick Strong hit a beautiful sequence on Matt Riddle, where he hit a big boot, enziguri off the ropes, hit a huge jumping knee that sent Matt Riddle into the ropes, and then he ran back and forth between the ropes 3 times. 1, 2, 3 with the forearms. Then he planted Matt Riddle with a back suplex facebuster for a close 2 count. The crowd's going crazy. The crowd's chanting NXT. Matt Riddle gets caught in the stronghold after he kicks out of a powerbomb. Then Matt Riddle was able to reverse it into the Bro Mission. And Roderick Strong was trying to fight out of the Bro Mission. He does successfully, but Matt Riddle ends up countering it into a reverse neutralizer, it looked like. It looked like Cesaro's neutralizer, but reversed. It looked like he was sent up for a tombstone, but he ended up falling forward. Strong got planted, and he covered him for the 1, 2, 3. At nearly 15 minutes, Matt Riddle gets the victory over Roderick Strong, and I will talk about where Roderick Strong and Matt Riddle could possibly end up when we get to the main event, because the main event really kind of set everything into disarray. But I'm going to hand this over to Chrissy. What were your thoughts on this match?
That was a great analytical breakdown. I was noticing the nuances in the match. As you said, it was very hard hitting. I wrote initially, I took some notes. Nice opener. I've noticed that when Undisputed Era any member opens, it's just a fantastic way to set the tone of the show. I said reliable Roddy. It was a fire match. There was lots of action. I think Roderick Strong is one of the best workers in NXT, if not to say WWE. I feel this is true to all of the Undisputed Era members as a whole. One thing that I praised and I thought was great, that they got dueling chants for Matt Riddle and Undisputed Era chants in the Barclays Center when I had went, and the Barclays Center, when I'm able to watch takeovers, I noticed there is an overwhelming amount of Undisputed Era chants, and they're very pro-era. So I thought that was great, that Riddle could get them to his side, and a testament to his ability that he could bring them with him, just like Gargano did at TakeOver New York, to bring them with, to tell the story. That backselling was fantastic. The selling on both ends was fantastic. Like you said, I believe the right man won, and it was an amazing match, and I'd like to see what happens. I have some thoughts on what could happen, but that match it was everything for me. It told a good story, had some great action, no complaints from me.
All right, let me ask you one question. Which was better? Was it Matt Riddle versus Velveteen Dream or Matt Riddle versus Roderick Strong? And then we're going to move on to the NXT Tag Team Title Ladder match.
I am a very big fan of in-ring storytelling over match quality at times, but this one was a tad more memorable and with less theatrics. I feel that they told a small story, an easy story, and had some great wrestling. And I felt completely satisfied with the finish and with the product as a whole. So I would give this match the edge. It's also more fresh in my mind to say that as well.
Put it this way, well said. I mean, again, it was probably the most hard-hitting match in WWE all year outside of Pete Dunne and Walter, as I stated. But from that, after a great match with Matt Riddle going over, we then went into the NXT Tag Team Title Ladder match between Bobby Fish and Kyle O'Reilly of the Undisputed Era, the Street Profits, Oney Lorcan and Danny Burch, and Wesley Blake and Steve Cutler of the Forgotten Sons. Now, you really have to go back to TakeOver New Orleans to compare this ladder match, because back at TakeOver New Orleans, we had that fantastic NXT North American Championship ladder match, and now we have another ladder match, which went about 25 minutes, with 4 of the top teams in NXT right now. I am telling you right now, Kyle O'Reilly, I don't know how Kyle O'Reilly's even alive. I don't know how Kyle O'Reilly's even alive right now, because Kyle O'Reilly should have died at least 3 times in that match. Kyle O'Reilly pretty much took over the role of Finn Balor in this match. We all know what happened to Finn Balor at Money in the Bank. Finn Balor took a sunset flip powerbomb on the ladder and bounced like he was on a fucking trampoline. Then we had Finn Balor getting chokeslammed on a ladder, and that didn't give way whatsoever. Then he got suplexed onto a ladder, and then Andrade Cien Almas got Alabama slammed right onto Finn Balor while Finn Balor was still on the ladder. Kyle O'Reilly took a suicide dive from Wesley Blake, and I don't know where the ladder landed. I think it landed on his shoulder. Kyle O'Reilly then was kicked off the ladder, I believe, or he was underneath the ladder, and Bobby Fish was kicked off the ladder, and he landed right on top of Kyle O'Reilly. Kyle O'Reilly lost a fucking tooth, by the way. He lost a tooth. He was busted. Kyle O'Reilly was busted. We had Montez Ford and Angelo Dawkins. Angelo Dawkins did a huge crossbody to the outside, taking out the field. We then had Angelo Dawkins and Montez Ford doing double team action, the leapfrog action with the ladder. We had Oney Lorcan and Danny Burch do double German suplexes to the Forgotten Sons, while the Forgotten Sons still had the ladder around their head, and the ladder went flying, nearly hit Kyle O'Reilly. I don't know what the fuck they were planning, but Kyle O'Reilly nearly died. More times than one in that match. Down the stretch of this match, Kyle O'Reilly was going up. He was going up, and we had Jackson Riker of the Forgotten Sons coming out to take out everyone. By the end of it, we had the 3 teams that were not the Forgotten Sons take out Jackson Riker with the ladder. And then Montez Ford, I don't know what the hell Montez Ford is made of. I think he has rockets in his shoes. Montez Ford leaped over the ladder and over the ropes and just barely made it to Jackson Riker. He barely made it to Jackson Riker. I do not know what Montez Ford is made of, but Montez Ford is something else, and if he has the potential, if he definitely has the potential to succeed as a single star. So I don't know if they ever want to break the Profits up, but Montez Ford can do wonders as a single star, especially after a performance in that ladder match. Then Oney Lorcan took out Jackson Riker. Oney Lorcan took out Jackson Riker. We had the Undisputed Era and Oney Lorcan and Danny Burch on two ladders, and they were fighting each other. The Forgotten Sons split the ladders apart, and all four men came crashing down. The Forgotten Sons looked like they were on their way to winning, and Tyson Arnold from the Rundown, when he came on my show to predict the show, he actually called the Forgotten Sons. So I was actually starting to believe him at that rate, that the Forgotten Sons were going to win. But out of nowhere, Angelo Dawkins with a spear to Steve Cutler under the ladder. Montez Ford with a springboard onto the ladder, punches down Wesley Blake, and the Street Profits, to a thunderous ovation, win the NXT Tag Team titles in the best way possible on their first takeover. Well deserved for Angelo Dawkins and Montez Ford. They worked their fucking asses off to win those tag team titles. And Montez Ford and Angelo Dawkins, there was no team in that match that was more deserving of winning the tag team titles than the Street Profits. Now, I don't really know where they go from here. There's a lot of options that WWE NXT production can go from there. They can go and face the Forgotten Sons based on the Forgotten Sons' great performance in that ladder match and how they've really broken out as a team. They could face off against Oney Lorcan and Danny Burch, probably as an interim title defense. You never really know what's going to happen. Especially, Oney Lorcan has been getting a lot of opportunities as of lately. He's been excelling on NXT and 205 Live. They could go with the Undisputed Era. And I'm going to talk about why they could go with the Undisputed Era based on what happened in the main event. And again, a lot of what happened in the main event really throws everything into disarray. And I'm going to talk about that once we get into the main event of Gargano and Cole, part number 2. But the Street Profits, well deserved for the Street Profits. Brutal ladder match. That's definitely going on my top 10 of 2019. Was it better than the NXT North American Championship ladder match? I'm going to say no, it was not. Only because of the fact that it didn't go as long as the ladder match, and there weren't enough crazy ladder spots to really bump it up above the North American Championship ladder match. However, it was still a fantastic ladder match, a brutal match at that. And Kyle O'Reilly, pray for Kyle. As Morrow said it, they killed Kyle. As Morrow said it, they killed Kyle. So I'm going to hand this over to Chrissy. And what were your thoughts on this match? And what were your thoughts on the Street Profits walking away with the victory?
As you just said, my thoughts at the end of that match was, in the great words of the iconic Morrow, OMG, they killed Kyle. I saw the laceration. It is brutal. It is gruesome. I don't recommend anyone looking at that picture. It is just a testament to, again, how hard the Undisputed Era worked. A lot of dangerous spots, a lot of me watching through my hands, hoping they're okay, hoping most of the time that Kyle was not dead. I just wanted to shout out, this was the first ever takeover for Angelo Dawkins and Steve Cutler, who had been in the company almost, if not to the day of its inception, from changing over from FCW to NXT. I think that is a reward for their hard work, their effort, their longevity to stay in there and to stay relevant, considering all the men and women that come through NXT, the main roster. I started to, I believe, notice a trend with gear that, as Tyson predicted, as you may have predicted, I called the Forgotten Sons winning this. As soon as I saw the Street Profits come out, I was like, they're going over. They're winning. This is their night. They had a phenomenal performance. Everyone had a little bit of something going on. It was, as I said, dangerous spots. I was a little bit scared for everyone. They did fantastic, and it was as safe as it could be in a ladder match. One of my least favorite matches because of just the gruesome results that can come out of it and just the risk of injury, and they all did phenomenal. I felt that Montez Ford, his spot, that springboard onto the ladder, very reminiscent almost how Bayley came up and won the Money in the Bank ladder match.
Of course you were going to say that. Of course you were going to say that.
Oh, where the heck did he come from? And just such amazing presence. I feel that Montez's ability was highlighted so well in the week prior for the PC combined, and it's just a testament to his credibility as a performer, as an athlete, for him to get that moment, for the Profits, the Street Profits, to get that moment, to get that win, after all of those years of the grind. And each team had a special, significant moment. I'm a big fan of the uppercuts, the blockbusters, a lot of hard hitting, a lot of brutal spots, and these guys are definitely hurting after that. Oh my goodness! My hats off to all of them. I believe the right team won, but oh my goodness, if they're all not sore today.
It's good. It's a good thing they do pre-taped episodes of NXT before the actual takeover, so that way they can give them a week off.
My goodness, everybody's back. I was like, oh, everybody's coming out of here wrecked or somehow worse for the wear.
So
I noticed that suicide dive. Wesley Blake got the ladder right to the face.
Oh yeah. Was he cut? I didn't see. Was he cut?
Yeah, he was cut. He was cut right above, I think right above his eyebrow, and I was like, why is he doing this? And he just went for it. I was just like, okay, hats off. You're crazy. This is what it is, though. That's what you do when you love what you do and you love to perform and entertain the crowd. You do what Kyle does. You die for us.
Yeah, and then that face that Kyle made when Jackson Riker came out, he was like, I don't know how he does that face, but like his eyes almost like separate when he does that face. I don't know.
He's the king of facial expressions. He's just the king of facial expressions.
The charisma that Kyle O'Reilly has is fantastic. I absolutely love it. But as far as the Street Profits go, now where do they go from here? Who do they defend the titles against in TakeOver or at TakeOver Toronto?
You made a fantastic point. They could have an interim with Lorcan and Birch, two phenomenal athletes. They did a barn burner against the Undisputed Era last year, so they can certainly go. And the other team, as you mentioned, they could also go with the Forgotten Sons, who had an upstanding performance. They certainly surprised me. I thought they were going to be a little cautious and err on the side of caution, and they certainly pulled out all the stops. I was definitely worried for Wesley Blake in some of those spots that they were going to get hurt, putting the ladder above their head and whatever they were trying to do with that. I thought that was a mistake. But for either team to be rewarded for their performances, that'd be wonderful to see, even a three-way. They have plenty of tag team action there to decide if they would go Era. Era are the workhorses of their tag team division. I wouldn't be opposed.
So, well, which one do you think that they're going with, though?
I can see is doing, as you said, an interim tag team. That would be Lorcan and Birch.
Oh, okay, so you feel they're going with Lorcan and Birch first.
Match.
Okay.
Yes, that would be a great wrestling match.
So from that match, by the way, again, that will be on my top 10. We went from that into the North American Championship match between Tyler Breeze and Velveteen Dream. This is Velveteen Dream's third title defense. This is Tyler Breeze's homecoming at TakeOver. And they were put in a tough position, mainly because after the first two matches, the crowd was pretty much all tired out. However, they did put on a very good match, and they did get the crowd somewhat back into what they were doing. I do have a lot of respect for Velveteen Dream and Tyler Breeze for being able to perform so well in that position. It was a very good match. However, I feel as though we expected a little bit more, and because it was placed in that position, that's why it kind of felt hampered down just a little bit. It was just a little bit, but it was still a very good match, very well played out. Both men played their parts brilliantly. Velveteen Dream just being as cocky and flamboyant as ever. Tyler Breeze playing a major babyface in this match. He was the major baby. Normally, Tyler Breeze is always the one playing the heel, but he returned to NXT a conquering hero, so he was pretty much the underdog babyface in this one. We had Tyler Breeze catching Velveteen Dream with the drop kick. He caught Velveteen Dream with the knee and then a supermodel kick for a close 2 count. We had a lot of back and forth between Velveteen Dream and Tyler Breeze. They were reversing tombstone pile driver holds, I believe, at one point in the match. Dream was able to hit the unprettier on Tyler Breeze, but Tyler Breeze was able to kick out. Tyler Breeze ended up in a position where he was caught with the Dream DT, as Mauro Ranallo calls it, another close count. There was one spot in this match that looked absolutely brutal, and it was on Velveteen Dream's behalf because of the way that he sold it. Velveteen Dream was going for a springboard clothesline that he does, and Tyler Breeze pulled Velveteen Dream's head between the turnbuckles, hit him with a super kick between the buckles. Velveteen Dream fell off the middle rope, and Tyler Breeze hit the unprettier. Velveteen Dream sold it like Rob Van Dam, right on the top of his head. I thought he would have broken his neck, and I swear, at that point, I could have sworn I thought Tyler Breeze was going to win the North American title right then and there. I legitimately thought that Tyler Breeze, and a lot of people too, you heard the crowd counting 1, 2 at the top of their lungs. They thought Tyler Breeze was going to become the new North American champion right there. Dream kicks out. At this rate, I'm like, yeah, that's it. There's no way Tyler Breeze is winning. So, Tyler Breeze ends up hitting the beauty shot. Beauty shot connects flush, but Velveteen Dream rolls out of the ring. Velveteen Dream rolls out of the ring. Tyler Breeze cannot get Velveteen Dream back in the ring because he's dead weight. Tyler Breeze goes to the ref and is like, no, stop the count. I can't win the title that way. Velveteen Dream, like the slick, sneaky, sly devil that he is, takes the title, goes to hit Breeze, but Breeze catches it. And then Breeze hands the title over to the ref. Velveteen Dream, seeing an opening, hits the Dream Valley Driver, rolls through into the Purple Rainmaker. 1, 2, 3. Velveteen Dream retains. They share a sign of mutual respect at the end of the match when they share a selfie. Again, very good match. But again, we did expect a little bit more based off of the fact that it was an underrated Dream match in a way. It was an old school versus new school type deal between Tyler Breeze and Velveteen Dream. Though it did not live up to the hype that we thought it would, I will say, and no one can disagree with me on this one, this match was better than everything that they have done with Tyler Breeze throughout his entire 4-year run on the main roster. This match was better than everything, whether it was his feud with Dolph Ziggler, his partnership with Summer Rae, Breezango and the Fashion Files. Everything that they did with Tyler Breeze on the main roster did not come close to this match. Although it did not live up to NXT standards, it outshined everything that they booked Tyler Breeze to do on the main roster, period. And no one can disagree with me on that. No one can disagree with me on that. Now, as far as where these two go, Tyler Breeze is not going anywhere. Tyler Breeze is going to stay in NXT. He is going to be a champion at some point. He could very well be NXT champion by NXT TakeOver War Games 3. Hell, he could even be in the NXT Championship picture by WrestleMania weekend. We don't know. But regardless, Triple H said Tyler Breeze will be on more takeovers. Tyler Breeze is back in NXT full-time. Tyler Breeze is going to get the opportunities that Vince McMahon refused to give him on the main roster. As far as Velveteen Dream, this was Velveteen Dream's last successful title defense on a takeover. Because at TakeOver Toronto, I see no other than Keith Lee going up against Velveteen Dream at TakeOver Toronto. Keith Lee will be your new North American champion on August 10th, 2019. When we get to TakeOver Toronto, he could very well go on to face off against Tyler Breeze at TakeOver War Games 3. He could very well go on to face a returning Dominik Dijakovic, depending on how long Dominik Dijakovic will be out as far as his knee surgery goes. He could go up against Kushida. We could see Tyler Breeze versus Kushida as an undercard match for TakeOver Toronto. We don't know. We could see Kushida and Velveteen Dream as well. Kushida and Keith Lee are the two that could be in top contention for taking the title from Velveteen Dream, but I think they're going to go with Keith Lee based off of the fact that Keith Lee has been in NXT for over a year, and Kushida just showed up. So you want to take it a bit slow with Kushida since he's only had about 3 or 4 matches in NXT thus far. That's why I believe Keith Lee will be your new North American champion when we get to NXT TakeOver Toronto. Very good match for Velveteen Dream and Tyler Breeze. Tyler Breeze will be a champion in NXT. Mark my words. Do not get stressed. Do not get worried. He will be in the NXT North American Championship picture by the end of the year, or the NXT Championship picture by WrestleMania weekend next year. What were your thoughts on this match, and where do you think Tyler Breeze and Velveteen Dream go from here, Chrissy?
That was reassuring for me. I watched this match purely as a fan. This was a storytelling psychology match for me. One of my favorite things to see, just a slowed down story with wrestling and something you can just chomp on and get emotionally invested in. As you said, I believe I a bit overhyped it in my mind, knowing the potential finish. I expected a little more. I felt that there was a slow start, but when they picked up, that they were great. Dream was gold in his role. Tyler was, you feel like you said, the old hat, kind of frustrated, wanting to prove himself. He's sitting there, fighting for his honor. And, this guy saying, I'm better than you. You're just the generic version of me. And having to, fight the old school fight for old school versus new school. A great story there as well. I like the move thieves. I like them doing variations or attempts of each other's moves. The storytelling like no other characters can, with the bravado that they have, using the selfies as an element in storytelling. Velveteen Dream using the selfie stick to do a promo, kind of a shade at Breeze, and in the match he takes his phone to mock him. I thought that was just a heel move. I was like,
Velveteen Dream does.
Dream, I just want him to. I want him to win. I want Tyler to beat you. Like I said, I watched as a fan, and that last sequence towards the end, like you said, it was brutal. I felt at a point Tyler got knocked because he was bleeding out of his ear. I was worried there was a concussion going on there. And that Velveteen Dream spot that you pointed out, definitely brutal. That was sold so viciously. As you said, kind of like how Rob Van Dam sells the RKO right on the top of his head. I thought we had a winner. Dream pulled out the win. What a sly bastard. I was so mad. And then my friends pointed out this is a perfect finish to protect Tyler Breeze with a screwy finish for whatever future investments they want to do with him, whatever position they want to take him to make him a champion in the future, and also to keep Dream strong for his next contender, whoever that may be. So whether they have a rematch or maybe Tyler takes another route, Kushida sounds like a banger match. I think I will be satisfied nonetheless. Tyler, as you said, I can agree with your sentiments. He had a phenomenal run that really can't rival anything he had done on the main roster. I would rival this to maybe NXT Fatal 4-Way.
Oh, yes, absolutely.
His number one contender match with Sami Zayn. But that was amazing storytelling. I don't think can be retold, and I don't think there are such great storytellers in regards to selling right now as Velveteen Dream, and I would say the OG of NXT, Tyler Breeze.
Well said. Very well said. Now, from there we went into the NXT Women's Championship match between Io Shirai and Shayna Baszler, and this went about 13 minutes. Again, very good match. Nothing too crazy, but it was a very good match. Both women played their parts very, very well. Shayna Baszler working on the arm of Io Shirai. Mauro Ranallo calls it the reality check of how she just stomps on the elbow, just bends the elbow backwards. And I tweeted out that I cringe every single time that Shayna Baszler does that arm stomp. I would not take that arm stomp no matter how much money you paid me. You could pay me $10 billion. I would not take that arm stomp whatsoever. I would like to keep my arm, thank you very much. So, Shayna Baszler was working on the arm for the majority of this match. Io Shirai started to mount a comeback, the 619, and then it was Missile Dropkick City, or it was just Dropkick City for Io Shirai. Missile Dropkicks, Springboard Dropkicks. There was a Dropkick to Shayna Baszler that resulted in her crashing and burning on the apron, then to the outside. Io Shirai then hit a beautiful moonsault to Shayna Baszler on the outside. I love Io Shirai's moonsault. The form in which she does it with is phenomenal. Double knees in the corner. Io Shirai went for the acai moonsault, but Marina Shafir and Jessamine Duke started to come out. Candice LeRae started just wheeling away at kendo stick. She ran out and just started wheeling away and swinging away. She broke the kendo stick over one of them. I think it was Duke. Then hit the crossbody, took out both women. Io Shirai got rolled up by Shayna, but Shayna did not have it tight enough as Io Shirai kicked out. Io Shirai then dropped Shayna. I believe it was what was it? Was it a kick or was it a right fist? I don't remember. Regardless, Shayna was dropped. Io Shirai went up to the top, went for the moonsault. Shayna rolled. Shirai landed on her feet. Shayna Baszler went for a punch. She got it. She went for the Karafuda clutch, but Io Shirai rolled through in the same way that Kairi Sane rolled through at TakeOver Brooklyn 4, in which I was there for, but Shayna kicked out. Then we had La Magistral by Io Shirai into a bridging pin. Shayna Baszler kicked out and locked in the Karafuda clutch. She locked in the Karafuda clutch. Io Shirai was wailing and flailing. She was trying to reach with her leg. Shayna Baszler was pulling back her leg. She was trying to reposition her arms. Shayna Baszler repositioned her arms. At the end of this thing, after nearly 2 minutes in the clutch, Io Shirai just lightly taps out as she was about to fade away. Shayna Baszler retains. Then Io Shirai started wheeling away on Shayna Baszler with the kendo stick. Then she tells Candice to give her a steel chair, takes the steel chair, hits a acai moonsault with the chair onto Shayna, walks away as the crowd chants, "You deserve it." Truthfully, yeah, I knew you would laugh. I knew you would laugh, Chrissy. Truthfully, this outcome does not surprise me at all. My heart said Io Shirai, but my head said Shayna Baszler, and I said this on the rundown when me and Tyson were previewing the show. I said that Vince McMahon had no plans for Shayna Baszler. He was probably not even a fan of Shayna Baszler, and he didn't want Shayna Baszler on the main roster. I am now thoroughly convinced that that is true after what happened 2 nights ago at TakeOver. I am officially convinced, and there is nothing that anyone can say that is going to convince me otherwise. It is really not that far out there that Shayna Baszler has been in NXT for over a year and a half, and realistically, she should have been called up after Survivor Series last November. Kairi Sane should have not lost the title back to Shayna Baszler, and Shayna Baszler should not be a 2-time NXT Women's Champion. And the only reason why she is because Triple H knows that he has created this mystique for Shayna Baszler almost in an Asuka light. Not as dominant as Asuka, but still dominant nonetheless. He knows that when Shayna Baszler loses that title, and when Shayna Baszler does not have that title anymore, there's realistically nowhere else for Shayna Baszler to go but up to the main roster. He can't just leave her in NXT because then Shayna Baszler will lose that monstrous, dominant-like mystique that she has. Vince McMahon, and Triple H even said this in an episode of Breaking Ground back when they had that reality television show for the superstars of NXT. It was called Breaking Ground back in 2015. He said, and I quote,
show.
Yes, I've seen a few episodes. It was a very good show. He said, and I quote, the decision of who gets called up is Vince's. Vince McMahon, based on everything that has happened, he may not even be a fan of Shayna Baszler. Vince McMahon is simply not a fan of Shayna Baszler. He does not care for Shayna Baszler, and he does not have any plans for Shayna Baszler on the main roster, and Triple H does not want to see what happened with Shayna Baszler happen, or he doesn't want to see what happened with Asuka happen to Shayna Baszler, because Asuka, she was as dominant as there could be in NXT, putting on great matches as champion, undefeated. She gets called up 7 months on the main roster, not even a year. She loses her undefeated streak to Charlotte, which did nothing for Charlotte. She was buried throughout the majority of 2018, given the SmackDown Live Women's Championship merely to keep her happy so she doesn't jump shift to AEW when her contract is up. She lost it back to Charlotte. Now she's in a tag team with Kairi Sane, and most likely they will be fast-tracked to the women's tag team titles. They're going to fast-track Kairi Sane to the women's tag team titles because of the simple fact that they want to keep Asuka happy so she does not leave when her contract is up. Triple H simply does not want to see that happen for Shayna Baszler. And we all saw what happened with Sanity and Andrade. They got called up with no plans. Sanity didn't get any opportunities, and Andrade is just starting to get opportunities now because of the simple fact that they're pushing Andrade as well, so that way he's not unhappy, because he voiced how unhappy he was at the end of 2018. Now, we're stuck in this position. We're stuck in this position where Shayna Baszler is merely still NXT Women's Champion because of the simple fact that Vince McMahon does not have any plans for Shayna, and he doesn't want Shayna on the main roster, and Triple H is probably backstage right now. He's trying to convince the fuck out of Vince McMahon to solidify some plans in his plan book, if he even has a fucking plan book, for Shayna Baszler. Because, legitimately, Shayna Baszler's gone as far as she can go. She should have lost the NXT Women's Championship at TakeOver War Games 2. She should have lost at TakeOver Phoenix. She should have lost at TakeOver New York. She should have lost at TakeOver 25. The reason why she hasn't lost, simple fact. Vince McMahon is not a fan of Shayna. Vince McMahon has no plans for Shayna. Therefore, Triple H is trying to keep her as dominant as possible and trying to maintain that mystique of Shayna Baszler at the expense of everyone else until Vince McMahon finally has some plans for Shayna Baszler. We don't even know if Vince McMahon is ever going to warm up to Shayna Baszler. But all I know is no one's going to convince me otherwise. Where does this go? We could get a street fight with Io Shirai and Shayna Baszler, maybe at the next set of tapings. Maybe we could get it at NXT TakeOver Toronto. Maybe Candice LeRae gets some more momentum on her side. Maybe Candice LeRae takes the title off of Shayna Baszler. I don't know. Maybe we get a heel turn from Candice. Maybe we get a heel turn from Io. But again, this outcome doesn't surprise me at all. I wanted Io, but in the back of my head, it was pretty much confirmed. It was pretty much confirmed at TakeOver 25. Shayna Baszler is merely still the champion because Vince doesn't like her. And Vince does not have any plans for her. Simple as that. What were your thoughts on this match?
I had a lot of prevailing thoughts. There was small speculation. I don't want to speculate too much because I'm.
Let it out. You're on my channel now. You can say whatever the fuck you want.
In regards to the match, I had a small amount of thoughts. I noted their chemistry from prior matches and other promotions. They just gel so well. I don't want to say they're like, wrestling soulmates, because I do believe that there are just wrestlers that when they have matches together, they just go so well. It's like peanut butter and jelly. It's like a match made in heaven. But they are certainly a duo that does well together, that I feel bounce off each other well. I thought that in the intro that their multiple counters showed their familiarity and just that chemistry that they have in matches from their prior matches where they've worked together. And I really liked some of the callbacks. I liked some of their action where you see they kind of know each other a bit. They kind of have each other's number. Like, I know you're going to do this. Like when, as you said in your description, when she goes for that move, as Moro described, the reality check.
Yeah.
There's one moment where Io counters it because she knows it's coming. I love matches where they have sort of each other's number and they know the answer to it, and the opponent has to come up with some sort of solution. Nice storytelling, nice pace. I felt at moments it got a bit formulaic, which isn't bad. But this match was everything I expected it to be. I don't know about the speculation in regards to how Vince McMahon feels about Shayna Baszler.
What else could it be? There's really nothing else. There's really nothing else.
Just a thought I wanted to put out there. I am someone that is hopeful for one day, maybe in a year, 2 years, that we get either the NXT 4 Horsewomen Fatal 4-Way as a main event, or the 4 Horsewomen versus in WWE or NXT versus the MMA 4 Horsewomen. I feel that if WWE has a vested interest in it, they, 1, keep Shayna Baszler strong, and 2, they smartly book each horsewoman if they wanna keep that. But as you know, we don't know the status of one horsewoman, Sasha Banks. I wish her the best in whatever she chooses to do, whether it come back, whether go to another company, whether retire. But I do want to voice that that potential dream match is somewhere in the back of my mind, and I hope WWE vests in it. And I would hope that Vince McMahon cares, because that, along with having a Shield main event, would have been, to me, money. But that's just my opinion.
Again, it just comes down to the fact that, like, based on everything that has happened, do you really think it's that far-fetched to think that Vince doesn't care for Shayna, and Vince does not have any plans for Shayna?
No, absolutely not. I'm not neither pro nor against. I don't know the man, but I mean, we have years of proof that if you fit a certain look, that it appears you get a push. If you fit a certain model of what he expects in a WWE superstar, male or female, it appears that he says, you're my person, you're my pick. And
pretty much.
Kind of goes against the community, the community voice. And sometimes I like that pick. Sometimes I don't like that pick. But there have been times where his voice greatly had a dissonance with our voice. If you recall the time of, Roman Reigns' pre-announcement of his leukemia, John Cena, for about a decade, we had, as fans, felt, okay, you're exhausting us with this person. That's your pick.
The fans still feel that way about Roman.
Our pick. I'm sorry?
The fans still feel that way about Roman. It's all over the community.
Well, his picks, just in general, as I voiced, some people will agree with that. Some people will disagree. I said, there is a major dissonance with what he believes we want and he presents and what we see on screen. That is not to say that I don't like some of it, but there is a dissonance. There's a miscommunication. There's a phone connection where we're talking and he's not listening. And it's not to say, as I told you in our phone call, that TV creators can't have a vision, that they can't have a variation of their show where they say, this is what I want, this is what I'm doing, this is how I'm going to carry it out. I've seen plenty of shows where you have a creative direction and they listen to the fans' input and they say, oh, well, that's something. And they add to it and they change it. And then there's some creators, they say, well, this is mine. I made this. I want this to represent me. And you're just going to have to like it or not.
Those are stubborn people that are going to, unfortunately, be the death of themselves. And Vince McMahon is going to be responsible for the death of his own company.
I just would like to say, I don't think, personally, either opinion is right or wrong. I don't think Vince is wrong. I don't think we are wrong, though. I think that if you're going to put your platform out there and put an art out there, that you're going to receive criticism and feedback, and what you choose to do with that is what you choose to do with that. And I
Vince hasn't done anything with it, and that's exactly why the main roster product is failing. And if you need any more reason why, just watch Super Showdown this Friday. Watch Super Showdown this Friday, and you will see the fucking differences between Super Showdown and NXT. Hell, even compare Super Showdown and Double or Nothing. Pretty much.
I was asked to watch a women's tournament in lieu of Super Showdown. So my status of watching Super Showdown, I don't know about that, because last year I did not watch Crown Jewel, and I don't know if there was another SA event, but
there was the Greatest. I watched the Greatest Royal Rumble.
I did not watch that either.
That was actually that was the only decent show so far out of the two Saudi shows. That was a decent show. Crown Jewel was the worst show of 2018, and you could clearly tell at that show that the WWE just wanted to rush and get out of there. They put no effort into that show whatsoever, and it was just a complete waste of time. And to be quite honest with you, I don't know what to expect from Super Showdown. The only reason why I watched Crown Jewel is because I had to review it for a Storm stream with Tim Farley from Armbar Audio. Shout out to him. Shout out to Tim Farley from Armbar Audio. And now I'm watching Super Showdown because I'm going to review Super Showdown on the 14th Storm stream with your boy Chris. Shout out to Chris, who is one of the fastest up-and-rising analysts and YouTubers. He's going to be on the Storm stream this Friday after Super Showdown. I hope to see you in the chat room, Chrissy.
Yeah. Like, as I said, aside from a moral conundrum, I don't watch Super Showdown because it usually airs at a time that is rather inconvenient. Last year, I believe, wasn't Super Showdown in Australia?
Yes, at like 5 a.m.
And at 5 a.m., I actually did watch that.
I didn't. I was asleep.
I watched Buddy Murphy win the title. That was such a beautiful moment. Just to win in his hometown, and I didn't think he would. It was to see hometown heroes win. Just such a sweet thing.
All right, but back to
when they have to lose in their hometown.
Back to the NXT Women's Championship title picture. Where do you think this leads to? That ending. Where do you think that ending leads to regarding TakeOver Toronto? And then we're going to talk about the NXT Championship match.
I mirrored your sentiments the whole time. I was kind of waiting for Candice to do something. I felt a heel turn coming on. I don't know why, but I've always had that creeping feeling in the back of my mind when she appears. I think it's because I want her to do something and to be relevant in the women's division, and not just Mrs. Gargano or Mrs. Wrestling. Candice is a fine wrestler and amazing. I saw her at Access with her match with Kay Lee Ray. It was a barn burner of a match, and I don't know why they're sitting on their hands with her. I think she's a fantastic wrestler, and I understand, they have a phenomenal hand of a handful of women that they work with. I would like to see them do something with her, and I hope she is next. Mia Yim or Bianca. There's so many phenomenal athletes and candidates, aside from whoever's in the PC and the combined, that they can work with. I just hope that she is in the mix.
All right, we're going to see how that plays out. So then, we had an ad advertising the next NXT UK TakeOver. I believe it was after the women's match. And holy shit, Triple H ain't playing around whatsoever. NXT UK TakeOver Cardiff will take place at 3 p.m. on August 31st. Same day as All Out. You could bet that Triple H is taking AEW as serious as he could possibly take it. I can't wait to see what matches get booked for that show. So then after that, we had the NXT Championship match between Johnny Gargano and Adam Cole. Right out of the gate, I will say, no, it was not better than their match at TakeOver New York. The story that both guys had going into that match, combined with the aura of New York, that big stage, the 2 out of 3 fall stipulation, and everything that was just poured into that match, made that match virtually untouchable. Nothing is going to touch that match throughout the entirety of 2019. Nothing will. Now, I'm not discrediting what they did at TakeOver 25. That match was no doubt a Match of the Year candidate. No doubt about it. And I love the aspect of Johnny and Cole telling a different story in that match. With Adam Cole and the injured left arm that he had. Gargano stomping on the arm early in the match. Gargano's knee being the target of Adam Cole. How he did the drop kick to the knee. Gargano starting to gain momentum again, but that knee was always slowing Gargano down. And I love the story that was told between the two. It started to pick up later on in the match. We had Johnny Gargano with the springboard flatliner off of the middle rope. We had Johnny Gargano and Adam Cole pretty much do a super kick party. I think there was about like six or seven super kicks within like 30 seconds. They went for double super kicks. Adam Cole got the first one. Then it was Johnny. Then it was Cole. Then it was Johnny. Then, out of nowhere, they both fall to the outside. And on the ramp side of the ringside area, on the ramp side, they hit double super kicks to the back of each other's heads. Both men fall down. We then had Johnny Gargano. I believe he went for a suicide dive. And Adam Cole caught him in midair with a super kick. Gargano fell face first to the floor. I'm not sure if he hit his nose or something like that, but it looked like a brutal fall. And then out of nowhere, a fucking Panama Sunrise on the outside. Gargano, I cannot stand to look at the television whenever someone takes a Panama Sunrise, especially Gargano. The way that Gargano takes the Panama Sunrise, how he just goes limp and just dies afterwards, makes me legitimately afraid that he was paralyzed whenever he takes Panama Sunrise like that. He took the Panama Sunrise on the outside, rolls him back into the ring. Gargano kicks out. Gargano was then put in a position in which he was limp as he could possibly be. He was dead limp. Gargano went for the Gargano escape. Adam Cole countered it into his own version of the Gargano escape. Gargano rolled through, hit the last shot. I'm sitting there like, what the fuck am I watching? And Adam Cole kicks out. We then had a combination where Gargano was hitting some forearm strikes, hits a super kick, reverse Rana, and the momentum from the reverse Rana carried Adam Cole through, off the ropes, into the last shot. 1, 2, Gargano kicks out. Place is going fucking crazy, chanting, holy shit, Mamma Mia. We then had Gargano locking in the Gargano escape. He had Adam Cole locked in. He was using his good knee to put all the pressure on the Gargano escape. Adam Cole got out of it by hitting the bad knee. He hit the Panama Sunrise into the last shot. Adam Cole is your new NXT champion. I legitimately have no answer. I do not know why they did this. Normally, I'm the guy with all the answers pro wrestling related. I have nothing. I genuinely do not know what to say. I am genuinely shocked. I am shocked that Adam Cole is the new NXT champion. Now, don't misconstrue that for complaining. I'm not mad in any way that Adam Cole is NXT champion. I am ecstatic for Adam Cole. But it came as a shock because of the way that Gargano won the title and the way that they built up Gargano to win the title, combined with the fact that they were doing a storyline on NXT television for the past 2 months with Roderick Strong and Adam Cole, pretty much insinuating that Roderick Strong could get kicked out of the Undisputed Era, combined with the fact that Roderick Strong lost and Bobby Fish and Kyle O'Reilly lost, all signs pointed to Gargano retaining, especially since Gargano never really had a run with the championship. And with the recent report from Dave Meltzer, which I stated on the Lightning Flash Update Part 2, before I went into my rant about Jon Moxley and the Talk is Jericho statements, Matt Riddle was set to face off against the winner of Gargano and Cole, and I would have assumed that it would have been Gargano, and we would have had Roderick Strong and Adam Cole as an undercard match for TakeOver Toronto. Based off of everything that happened, none of that could happen. Adam Cole is the new NXT champion, and I genuinely don't know where they go from here. Are they going to go ahead with Roderick Strong and Adam Cole in a rematch? Or not a technical rematch, but are they going to go with NXT champion Adam Cole and Roderick Strong in an NXT Championship match? Is Roderick Strong going to break away from the Undisputed Era? Are they going to go ahead with Matt Riddle and Adam Cole for the NXT Championship? And is Adam Cole going to be a transitional champion for Matt Riddle, just like Gargano was a transitional champion from Adam Cole? Will we get Gargano and Cole 3? Are we going to get a triple threat match between Riddle, Cole, and Gargano? I don't know. This is where that high unpredictability factor for NXT comes into play. We genuinely do not know what is going to happen as far as the NXT Championship picture goes. It has thrown everything into disarray. Now, I'm not saying that in a bad way, because now it really generates a new sense of interest because we don't know what's going to happen going into the next set of tapings and then into NXT TakeOver Toronto. So now we can really sit back, watch what happens, and I trust Triple H is going to tell a great story in the main event scene for NXT. Adam Cole is your new NXT champion in absolute shocking fashion. What were your thoughts on this match, Chrissy?
I had a lot of, for me, familiarity, a lot of callbacks. I did want to say, as I said earlier, I noticed a trend with gear. If you had new gear, I was predicting you were winning. Cole came out in his previous gray gear. I thought this was in the bag for Gargano. Gargano came out strong in his superhero theme as Captain Marvel. And I've always loved, I feel that there's an element of that similar storytelling as related to what gear he was wearing. You saw him wearing the gear at TakeOver Brooklyn 4 of Venom when he's fighting this darkness and he's facing Ciampa, and you feel that he gave in with the heel turn. And at TakeOver New York, I was expecting that story to come full story and him triumph in the Iron Man gear, but against Ciampa. And you resonated sentiments that I thought were unpopular or hot takes or unpopular opinion, in that I felt that it was more special, the win at TakeOver New York, the match for Johnny in New York, than this match. Not to say, as you said, this was a fantastic match. Great storytelling. Again, the familiarity. I saw some elements here and there that were just spot on. The selling of Johnny Gargano with the knee, as I said, in a crowd. Most TakeOver crowds are very pro-era, and they're very vocal. Johnny is fantastic in his ability to once again bring that crowd with him as a babyface. Always a sign of a great babyface to get a crowd to come with you during the match through storytelling and great wrestling. And he has just been just a phenomenal a testament to that. That just a credible, fantastic wrestler in terms of that. You see the match spot where he does the suicide dive into the kick. Reminded me of the Sasha Banks spot in 2018 right. Versus Asuka. That suicide dive to the kick. And another was TakeOver 4, Adam Cole versus Ricochet. Just his pinpoint accuracy in spots that could break somebody's neck, where he is just on the ball, on the money with his accuracy. The Panama Sunrises, the last shots where I thought they were the end. My friends had nicknamed him earlier in the night Johnny Kickout. I thought this was in the bag for Gargano. I wanted to give a shout out to Wrestling Flow's Josiah. That was such an amazing opportunity for him. His first Wrestling Flow was a rap of the Undisputed Era theme, and he got to be there with the NXT champion. It was amazing, just as a fan moment for him, knowing how much he loves wrestling and his art, and to be able to show that to the world. I'm just so happy for him and the chance that he takes, and the love that Triple H had for that, and to take him on. I just think that's such a blessing and a win for the community. To see a real fan succeed and be able to live their dream, and to see one of their favorite wrestlers become champion. That match was fantastic. Probably a top 10 for the year, match of the year candidate, absolutely. And they have great chemistry. Another just on match, just a classic 5-star match. Johnny wrestling is definitely an accurate take. I did not see Cole winning it, and it was a wonderful surprise. I do have thoughts on, I don't know if you'd like me to express them now, where they can go from that.
Yeah, where can they go? Where can they go, and then we'll get out of here?
I thought immediately, as soon as the Era picked them up, I just had an immediate flashback to Evolution when they kicked Randy Orton out, and I was like, are they going to swerve us? Because they have me thinking Roddy's going to get kicked out. Roddy's going to get kicked out. That you know, either Roddy's going to turn on the Era, or the Era's going to be like, Roddy, you're the weakest link in our group. You're not a champion. You're weak. You're unreliable, or you're going to be a traitor anyway. So we're just going to get rid of you. And to think maybe it could be Adam Cole, and I've not seen him as a babyface ever to testify to the success of this. To see him as a person in real life, when you see one of the nicest human beings on the planet. So I want to go with the swerve that they turn Adam Cole babyface, and he takes on the whole Era.
Really? You would think Adam Cole is going babyface in the next set of tapings?
That the Undisputed Era has a mutiny and turns on him for his success, and they make up some sort of jibe about, you've only been about you, and we've always wanted to protect you, and the whole Undisputed Era has hampered us because all we've done is be your lackeys, and we're better than you, and we can, I don't know, do this without you, and just kick into the curb.
That's not a bad idea. We're going to have to see where it goes. Again, it's a very unpredictable situation because Adam Cole winning threw everything into disarray. We don't know what's going to happen going into TakeOver Toronto. But
I mean, he's a great heel. He can take it to Tyler. He can take it to Riddle. But that idea of a swerve, because the predictable move is you have Gargano chase him, and maybe Cole get win retention. And another callback to Gargano and Sasha is that they are both very unsuccessful in retaining championships. I'm sorry, Johnny. You're a fantastic wrestler, though.
Unfortunately.
But you think that maybe they want to divert from what is the norm here. Their plans may change. You may see maybe a DIY reunion. We saw Ciampa on the pre-show and doing well and wishing Gargano well, and maybe that storytelling element of, you know, they were much more successful together than apart. Johnny has always been much more successful with Ciampa's help than without. Time will tell, but I think there's a lot of interesting stories that can be told, and a great call if you think that.
We'll have to see how that plays out. It's definitely something to keep your eye on. But nevertheless, ladies and gentlemen, fantastic show was NXT TakeOver 25. Ladies and gentlemen, that has been the rewind for NXT TakeOver 25. I would like to thank each and every single one of you who tuned into this video. A couple things. Do not forget to follow me on Twitter at Man of Infamy. Follow me on Instagram at TheDJStorms. Do not forget to check out the Lightning Flash updates, parts 1 and 2. I will place the links in the description. No Lightning Flash update this week because this Friday after Super Showdown, me and Chris are going live on the channel for the 14th annual special edition Storm Stream. It is going to be huge. We got the weekly show reviews to talk about. We're going to do a review on Super Showdown, and we're going to talk about Jon Moxley's rumored opponent at All Out. Do not miss it this Friday at 7:30 p.m. Chrissy, where can we find you on social media?
You can find me on @Commander Chrissy. I sometimes take hiatuses, but I'm nice. Love and kindness.
Where, on Twitter and Instagram?
Yeah, I believe so. It's @Commander Chrissy.
Awesome. Anything else or just them?
I'm mainly active on Twitter, so if you would like to follow me at Commander Chrissy, like I said, I'm very nice. I'm always open to people's ideas and input. As long as you're kind and respectful, we can jam.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, I'm DJ Storms. She's Chrissy. This has been the Rewind for TakeOver 25. Again, no Lightning Flash update this week. Stay tuned for the 14th Storm Stream this Friday. It is going to be something to remember with your boy Chris. Shout out to him. And I hope you guys enjoy your week.